Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing with the build for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Megazord from Fanhome with part 45. Before we start that, I just want to quickly go back to the pterodactyl, which we continued in the last video. After I finished filming, the lights stopped working. I could get them to charge and it would work when it charged. Whenever I took it off charge and pressed the button, it would stop. The lights wouldn't work at all. With some effort, I was able to take this apart, and I had found that somehow the battery wire had snapped, cut, so the battery wasn't connecting to the lights. This is all designed as a one-time build, so I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. But you can see some small scratches here where I've had to try and get this plate off. Now, I had a spare battery from when I was doing the monthly builds, and I used that to fix it. But obviously it has left some scratches and marks which should not be there at all. I've contacted Fanhome to see if I can get a replacement pterodactyl to redo this, because it's not something that should have happened at all. Whether they will or not, I don't know, and I will keep you updated on that front. That's just something to be mindful of. I've also heard some people have had issues with the eyes wires getting caught and snapping, and you can see right down here some pressure points here, so just be mindful that I don't think the wires are going to hold up to continuous use from this. Yeah, it's just something to be mindful of, and it certainly shouldn't be happening on a £1,000 figure. Anyway, moving on, let's start with part 45 of our Megazord build. Looks like we're moving back to the Mastodon today. So without further ado, it is building time. Get this opened up and the legs out. Go in the bin. So here we have the left front leg of the Mastodon. So this one's stuck in like that. Open. Oh. Come on. There we go. That can go away. Right, so we've got all of our plating here. No screws? It's got to be screws. Oh, yep, there's our screws. It wouldn't be a build if we didn't have screws. This is our screws. So this is all ABS plastic. There's no die-cast metal in the feet. So the first step is to take the two halves and this piece, which will apparently slide in here. Insert the tab on the left front leg trim into the slot indicated on the right, and then we bring these two together. There we go. That was a simple snap job. This will obviously pull apart as it stands, but everything else is going to clip, so I assume glue isn't going to be necessary at this stage. I'm hoping this pushes further together because there's quite a big gap seam between the legs on this side, so hopefully that will sort itself as we continue with assembly. Turning this upside down, we need the foot, and these two parts connect like so. This, as far as I'm aware, they No, that's better. So they go on like so, and then we need our screws. So we can take 2 of our screws and screw hole 1. And screw hole 2. Then we want to take the foot's internal structure. It's interesting it's got some internal structure. I assume this is to help with support of the overall body, but I'm not sure. This will go in upside down like so, and will slide over like so. So this part will line up with here, and then these 2 holes over these 2 ports. Like so, and we need 3 of our screws to fit this into place. Slid out of place. Let's make sure it's pushed into place as firmly as it will go. Come on, come on, there it is. There we go. That's 1, 2. And 3. Then we want this hinge and our pin, and the hinge will go into this with these bits facing up. Carefully note the position of the part, then position the left front foot connecting piece between the tabs on the foot internal structure, then insert the connecting piece pin through holes and enable the part to pivot back and forward. So yes, this will definitely go on like so. Just be careful because these pins, once they're in, are going to be impossible to take out. So make sure these are going up the right way. Try and get one of these pins in is pain. Normally I'd push this down on a surface to have it push through, but it's trying to get this into position. There we go. 1. Now I've accidentally pushed that all the way through. Come on. There we go. That will do. Then we take the foot cover and place that over the top with a nice firm click. In theory, this is easy enough to pull off, but I'm not going to glue it for now, whether that becomes an issue and I need to glue it later. You can also see some moulding marks from where these have been clipped off nubs, which is a little disappointing and not something I would have expected on this, but I guess it is what it is. Then we can fold over the hinge, and finally this will clip over the top. And this will clip over like so. You're not screwing anything into place yet, but you want this going with the lip facing, I guess, inwards, given this is the, oh no, it'd be facing on the outside. Yeah, that's going to end up being the inner of our foot. That'll be the outside, and that's how. There we go. So that is one foot done. We might as well move on to the right foot while we are here. This appears to be a similar process to part 46. Although there does appear to be a couple of extra parts here, so we will see about those. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get all of our screws and whatnots ready. That's all that's going. Okay. So, stage one will be the same as the previous foot. This will connect the clip, and then these will push together. Like so. Again, I'm not going to glue anything at the moment. Whether it needs gluing in time or not is something we'll end up having to see about. I'm hopeful that we don't, but it depends how easy it is to end up pulling some of these bits apart post-assembly. Well, and our connector like the previous. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that pin in a second. Let's see if I can get that out. Whew, thought I've lost the pin for a second. Did not want that falling behind the desk. There's no way I'd ever get that back. And then we want the hinge again, and like the first one, it will face with the clip facing upwards, and we need our pin. And that went in a lot easier than I was expecting it to. There we go. There we go, that will do. Then our foot cover. Again, that will clip over there. And this will come to sit like so. Yep. So that's our left foot, our right foot done. Like that. We're left over with this clip. And then moving on to part 47. Yeah, part 47. Nearly drop everything. Part 47 is the base for the front legs of the mammoth. So this would suggest this is only maybe half of the mammoth. And there will be another base piece for the back legs. So we get these two, whole host of screws and 2 panels. These are ABS plastic, but they're quite a thick plastic. They were cold as well, so I was thinking they were a die-cast metal. They are not. Okay, so first up is this piece, which appears to be the underside. You can see some nice molded detail in here. And with this, okay, so that is our front. And then we need to take our 2 legs. So this should be the left leg. And this will screw into here like so, supposedly. He says dropping and breaking everything. Yep. Okay, so that's leg number 1. That is screw number 2, and then the same on our right side. Yes. Same on the right side. Need 2 of our screws. Load that in, screw this into position, and screw our second one into position. That's our 2 front legs done. We now need our clip from the previous issue, and this just slides into place. Like, okay, so this will supposedly place the head connector piece with the 2 tabs facing down over the rectangular hole in the base of the front legs. Okay, I see. So there's these 2 tabs on the sides. They will fit over the back here, and then this connector piece will slide down like so. Oh, I see. So that will probably be used to hold the tail in place for the T-Rex when you're in Megazord mode. I'm assuming then that these connectors are in some way for the pterodactyl. Where did I put it? Yes, so I think that we have essentially our, maybe not, I don't know. It would seem to make sense that potentially that is in some way for our tank mode assembly, but they are not. That took a lot of force and pressure. It's not holding. There we go. So I think those connectors at the back are going to be for our tank assembly to hold the pterodactyl in place, which is one of the most firm connections I've ever had on a Megazord for the tank mode, if that is correct. I might be wrong. We might have yet to see something else, and without instructions at the moment for the actual Megazord assembly, it's going to be interesting to see if I'm correct or not. Anyway, moving on, we now need to bring in our top piece, and I'm sure this is the right way around. This will connect over the top, and then we screw it into place with screws in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not sure that hole's big enough for the screw. Well, screw went in with a little more force than the others. I don't think the manufacturers had created a hole quite big enough, or the plastic hadn't been drilled away fully. But it is in now, and it's tight fit. I'll do the two middle ones so we've got a nice secure connection. And we can do the outer ones. So obviously in previous videos I've asked if anyone's doing this, or they're just watching along. You might have seen that I'm also doing the Dalek build from Hatchet. So what other builds is everyone else working on? Has anyone gone in either with the Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon builds? I know they've done a number of human characters as well, with things like Darth Vader and Iron Spider-Man. I still don't see a point in that Spider-Man. Maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I can tell, it's literally just a giant statue with him just stood. There's no posability to it. There's no real stances or anything like that. I don't see the appeal in that figure. If anyone's doing that Iron Spider one, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Just because from a personal point of view, I just don't see the point. I've seen the Iron Man one. The Iron Man one looks quite cool, and I know that's got joints for posability, so you are getting something decent out of that. But the Iron Spider one, as far as I can tell, was just a statue. Anyway, that's top done. Then we just need to add our 2 plates. These just push into each side. They don't want to you know what, I think these are actually a die-cast metal rather than an ABS plastic. Again, these keep just pulling out. I'm going to leave them for the time being. Eventually I may end up having to glue those in place. I guess we'll see. If they're going to keep popping out like that, then I definitely will glue those into place, but I'm going to leave it until we're further along in the build just to see if anything else is going to hold them in place, but I'm not sure it will. I think they are going to have to be glued. Then we might as well move on to part 48, which is front articulation. So we get some articulation at the front. Be interesting to see how this does, and I believe this will complete box 5. Get our screws. Okay, so first up we need to take this piece and we take our shock absorber with this fitting through here. That's a nice simple fit, and just fits on like that. Then this will come to rest on here with this piece coming up there. So this will connect over that like so, and it's going to want 3 screws to hold it into place, which is fine. Oh, sugar. Sugar. Honey, honey. There we go. Connect up to and connect to 3. Once those screwed in, then this piece will come and clip up here by the looks of things. So fit the closed part of the connector piece into the 2 slots indicated on the inside of the upper left articulation. So there. Okay, so it goes with these 2 bits between there and just slides into place like that by the appearance. Then this piece will come in and it will facing up that way. Okay, so this goes up with the shock absorber going in there. So we can swivel that around. It says, is that thing? There we go. That's lined up. Yeah, that's a nice tight joint now. Then we need to screw this all into place. I think this will also be the deciding factor on whether or not I need to glue those covers. One, two, three, four. There it is. There it is. That's all of those bits done. Then we need to bring our thing around, turn this up the right way, and this will rest on there with a pin to go through it. Okay, so might as well try and get the pin part way through to begin with. See, those are still falling off. I think these are definitely going to need to be glued on. It doesn't say so in the instructions, but the way they keep coming undone. Oh, this one. Ow. Well, there we go. That's done. Has been done completely wrong. Shit. Okay, how do I get this out? Okay, I'm going to have to do this off camera. There we go, that's fixed that issue. Oh dear. I can't even blame the instructions on that one. That was definitely all me. I just wasn't paying attention. Then we just get a cover which will clip over like so. That is removable, but it's not going to come off with any ease, so I'm not overly worried on that. I definitely think I'm going to end up having to glue these into place, just because, yeah, I'm have a look through, make sure nothing is hindered by gluing those into place. Not from what I can see. No, not from what I can see is this going to be hindered in any way by having those glued into place. So I definitely think I will be doing that in a bit. But there we have it. That is parts 46 through 48 now complete. We've got the front half of our mastodon complete, and we can certainly see how it's starting to come together here. This is our head. So in theory, if I'm right, our head will come in on. No, because I'm filling that the wrong way. That will come there. That. Yeah, so in theory, that will connect into that, supposedly, I think. Yeah, that will clip on there, and then we'll have some connectors there. So there we have part of our Mastodon slowly coming together. Anyway, until next time, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay safe and may the power protect you.